please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Let's talk about commodity market, because over the last few days, even crude has declined from those 71 to 69. So that's also been a positive factor. But what about the overall market setup? Here's Manisha. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Anuj, and thank you so much for that. Well, we did see the prices go all the way down to $68 as well, but inching back towards that 70 mark, and we are trading 0.5% higher in the Asian markets right now. Well, to start with, there have been various statements from the OPEC members saying that the output cuts will continue not just in 2018, but much part of 2019 as well, and that has been supportive. You also have seen reports of problems actually occurring in Oklahoma, where you have oil rig explosion overnight there. That is adding some premium to prices. Also, if you look at the China fuel demand, the import numbers have continued to gain up. Also, the Asia spot LNG prices are trading at a 3-year highs above $12. So everything from energy and products, because of the cold snap, winter demand is trading in the positive at this point in time. Also, after you have seen the IMF increase the world output growth at 3.9% for 2018, there has been a revision for 2019 as well. That has pushed the base metal prices on the higher side. So you have the tin prices trading at a 3-month highs. Steel and iron ore prices have gained up for a third straight day today. Markets also are looking at very strong moves coming in for copper and nickel prices also. The Chinese demand has been positive. You have seen strong economic data from Europe and US as well. So everything almost really putting prices on the higher side. Add to that the weakness in US dollar, and you have a perfect recipe of another day of gains in this sector.
Okay, perfect recipe for gains. Thanks for that. We always like that, don't we? Perfect recipe in the equity markets as well. We've been speaking to the best and brightest minds from Davos. In fact, Shireen Bhan has been talking to all the Indian and global voices from the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. Here is a word coming in from Sanjay Nair, the CEO of KKR India. We'll be back.
I think the momentum will continue. Because, frankly, there's so much money coming towards emerging markets and India. So I think a lot depends upon just what happens in the US. But, frankly, I think for India, the earnings need to catch up. I think we are getting ahead of the earnings. So I think what's important for India is to really see if the earnings can catch up. As I say, India grows by night, and the micro story is pretty strong. I think the macro is good in the context of where we are. So I think we got another solid couple of years ahead of us, and hopefully things will get better. We like healthcare, there's no doubt about it. As you know, we've invested with Radiant Healthcare, and we'll try to buy, hospitals, lots of them coming around, new regulations around healthcare. So there's going to be a lot more demand for capital and management of hospitals. I'm sure we'll explore those.
Okay, we're going to get you, of course, more snippets from what's happening at Davos. Half of India Inc. is over there, and that's the Nifty opening. Actually, it's a little tepid compared to what we were expecting. But let's see, this is just the first tick that's coming by, and it's indicating a little bit of gains. Look at the Sensex. Sensex has reached out to 35,900. So let's wait and see how things pan out today. Maybe we want to pull up Axis and Asian Paints. Okay, that's the rupee. It's slightly weaker, and that is to be expected because we saw the dollar finally moving from 90.2 to 90.35. So that's a little bit of dollar lethargy that was going away, and therefore a little bit of strength here on the dollar vis-a-vis the rupee. But now the Nifty is putting on strength. Do we have a trade for Axis and for Asian Paints? Those were perhaps two numbers that the market will watch out for very closely. Axis is up, so it's not worried about dissecting the slippages on whether it came from watch list or non-watch list or BB minus or whatever. All it is worried is that the amount of problem loans as a load is getting lower, and the market seems to be happy about that. Or as Ashwini says, there are bears running for cover.
Asian Paints is also up, by the way. So it seems like, as Sudarshan was also saying, some of these stocks are proxies to the Indian economy. So if there is a dip, maybe there could be some buying. Now unchanged on Asian Paints, but let's see how that goes.
I was a little surprised by people complaining about Asian Paints. It's about a 9% rise in revenues, 18% rise in EBITDA. Margins have gone up by about 120 basis points. I mean, you're asking for the moon, you haven't got it, so you can complain.
Exactly, and you know what, the complaint is about volume growth, and it's been stated position of Asian Paints that they are not chasing volume. They are chasing growth, and they're chasing value. So that clearly stands out. Havells, by the way, will be an interesting stock. For me, actually, Havells and V-Guard, I would be interested to see how the market follows through in terms of a couple of these numbers, because they have been quite interesting. So that's a couple of stocks to keep an eye on. Noida Toll Bridge is up about 10% in pre-open, so that's looking quite interesting. But if pre-open is right, in that case, we will have 11,000 for starters. IOC is up about 2%. And that, of course, board will be considering a bonus issue. So that stock is up about 2% at this point in time.
Okay, for Havels, you know, Nomura has just upgraded Havels as well. They've raised their target price from 383 to 642. Okay, that's a big upside that Nomura has. And the management commentary was very strong. So I think that's something that the street has liked as well. But let's get some more cues on board. Prakash, wanted your thoughts on how to approach Asian Paints. Yes, the volume growth has been lackluster compared to some of its peers. But, you know, Asian Paints, I mean, has been the best growing stock as far as it is almost like a proxy to the Indian economy. Would you buy it on a dip?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Sunny. I mean, you know, these are lovely days when you have numbers which don't optically look promising because the expectations prior to the numbers are so high. I mean, I read about estimates of 12 to 15% volume growth, and the company never, you know, kind of backed that by any claims of, you know, chasing this. And one simple thing that you need to understand, what's working for them, the decorative paints is down. We all know about that. That's not something that's going to be a bestseller in, you know, in an environment where affordable housing is the norm. Now, their industrial paints have started doing well. The JVs have started taking off. And they've invested a lot into capacities. Now, why would they do it? You know, almost 4,000 crores is what they've slated for the next few quarters. Now, in the next 4 quarters, if they're looking at huge demand, that's the reason. So volume growth would come back. It's like what TVS Motor went through. You know, tepid volume growth, people wrote it off, and you actually have a 100% return in 6 months. So that's the kind of things which happen. And Asian Paints definitely at 16% net profit margins and everything sounds very good. There's no reason. And I agree, this proxy thing is where you need to look at. If more scrap goods are coming back, more consumption is coming back, there's no reason why Asian Paints can't follow them.
Something, TCS is up another 4%, and after that big move yesterday in pre-open, that is 6.4 lakh crore market cap on TCS. If this pre-open move were to play out, okay, now you know, 2.7%. Ashwini, surely it can't be possible, right? After a 4% move, to have another big day on TCS.
See, it's unlikely because large stocks don't move in that fashion. And before that, yesterday's 4%, it was already going up from 2,800. So chances are you should expect some amount of sideways, but it's broken out of 3-4 year consolidation and will finally get to 3,800, 4,000. That's a given. It's doing basically what Reliance did a few months back.
Okay, so it looks like 11,000 could be the first tick itself. 11,005. Yes, I take Ashwini's point that we'll have to see what happens after 11,000. But at the moment, it looks like we are about to celebrate a grand number, which we last got to do on July 26th, right? 2017, when 10,000 happened.
10,000, yeah, first happened July
26th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 2017. So
we're getting to celebrate another 1,000 on the Nifty after that day. So that's taken about 6 months. And so we didn't do much in 6 months. We've done 10% in 6 months. But it does feel like so many days of all-time highs in the last 6 months. Okay, nice to relish that figure. 11,003 is where the index is standing at this point in time. And any other high flyers, Kalpataru Power starting higher. Godavari Power is still celebrating its very good numbers, up 5%. I
want to mention GNFC. You know, you just saw a flash a while back that they have resumed full operations at Dahej. That's very important because yesterday GNFC reported very strong numbers. But the problem was that because the operations at Dahej had shut down, there was a feeling that they could not replicate these numbers going ahead. But now they've resumed full operations there, so that stock is in the green. Prakash Diwan, any thoughts on GNFC?
So, you know, this is a classic cause and effect case, I mean, script where, you know, news flow drives the stock price so distinctly. And every time, you know, the stock seems to be kind of weakening, you have this positive news flow. So I think there are a lot of strong hands that are owning the counter, and that's one of the reasons why you know, you don't have any disappointment which lasts too long. But I would start getting cautious, Sonia, on the valuations, particularly, you know, TDI is a very volatile in terms of pricing very volatile commodity, and once that chemical production dynamics are so globally entwined that if something goes wrong somewhere in the sense the production starts coming up, there are a lot of plants which are under maintenance and under stoppage. But if that changes, things could really be different. So don't buy the whole hog, because the numbers have already captured quite a bit of the good part. I would start getting slightly cautious at the 520, 525 zones.
Okay, Yes Bank is up about 1.3%. Ashwani, it's been your call as well, Yes Bank. Do you see it going back to its previous high now? That's been the template for Yes Bank, of course, that one large correction every year and going back to all-time highs.
Yeah, I would think so. 300, it stuck around there for a long time. And I think now with Bank Nifty and all the other private banks doing well, at some point you should be at 390, 400.
Any guesses why IOC should be 3.9%?
Bonus issue, bonus issues, considering the bonus issue. So that's
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, because actually they're also considering an OFS. If that is the case, it should not be really rising. But yes, bonus will perhaps give it a temporary leg up. Sudarshan, India Bulls housing, any thoughts?
Well, yes, it's now come out of that correction. It's a buying opportunity. Tata, a lot of good stocks are now willing to go higher. So that's, and Kotak Bank, which was in my buy list yesterday, had a big rally, continues. And I think today also it will give us opportunities.
Okay, since there are many buying opportunities, let's get Chandan Taparia of Motilal Oswal Securities as well into the discussion. Chandan, hi, morning. By the way, I want to also mention that Rallis is now down about 6% post a weak set of numbers. So just keep an eye out on that stock. Big margin disappointment in Rallis this quarter. So that stock is taking it on the chin. Chandan, what would be the stocks that you're looking at to buy or sell this morning?
Yeah, momentum is clearly visible in the market, and market is all set to cheer the 11,000 plus kind of level. So selective heavyweights are likely to do well. I am recommending to go long on Reliance. The stock is given a consolidation breakout and hitting the new lifetime high. We have seen significant surge in the trading and delivery volume, which also indicates this momentum could extend to 1,000 kind of level. Coal unwinding and the fresh put writing also signifies the positive momentum. So one can buy with a stop loss of 957 and expecting it to head to 1,000 plus kind of level. Second trade is buy on LIC Housing Finance. The stock has been laggards, but now it seems that it is bottoming out. We have seen strong momentum in India Bull Housing Finance and other NBFC companies, and LIC Housing Finance is surpassing its falling supply trend line. It has seen the positive divergence on the chart, so some buying interest and the better risk reward ratio could attract the upside move in the counter. One can buy with a small stop loss of 565 for the target towards 595, 600 zone. And the third trade is buy on L&T. This heavyweight stock is all set to fly high. We have seen significant jump in the trading and delivery volume. Open interest also is rising. So trade for upside target towards 1450. One can buy with a stop loss of 1375.
Okay, Chandan, thanks a lot for all those trading ideas. The pre-open is indicating that we'll start at 10,997, but there's a good chance that 11K would happen, even if it happens for a millisecond or whatever. But Ashwani, thoughts on how to approach trade and your 910 call?
See, I don't think you should be buying afresh, but carry your positions, and BHEL, that's a buy with a stop of 100, target of 114. That is the 914 call.
Okay. Ashwini, which would be your pick of the pack in the NBFCs even now?
See, India Bulls housing is coming out of a large correction. Also, ICICI Pru, I don't know if you can qualify it as NBFC. L&T Finance, Bajaj Finance, all of them have corrected to their 200-day moving averages. So slowly they're building up back towards where they came from. So I think this is a good point to get into NBFCs while people are looking at tech very carefully, because they will alternate. That's what I think.
Okay, well, two more stocks. Manappuram General Finance is up in the green ahead of the board meeting later today to discuss investment proposals. So don't lose sight of that. And aviation stocks are also moving with some strength. SpiceJet is up about 1% But guys, let's just savor a moment, take a moment to savor the fact that we might be hitting 11,000. We will hit 11,000 today or tomorrow. Just a few, points here and there. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps. I don't know about you guys.
Why would it be today or tomorrow? I thought, is it at 9:15 or is it at 9:20?
No, it will happen. It should happen at 9:15. Should happen because normally you take out all-time highs with gap ups. But do you buy at 11,000 or do you buy?
That's the question. That's the big question.
But days like today are not about whether you should buy or not today. Days like today are testament to the fact that you are in part of such a big bull market that if you had bought at 10,500 as well, you're making a lot of money. And you're making money regardless of at what level are you buying. But the market is rewarding you if you are respecting the market's verdict, which is buy the dips. You buy the dips, reasons will come later. You know, we will all keep finding, you know, the reasons. They will come later, Sonia. And, you know, earnings have started to pick up. Nothing will move markets needle more than earning. And this quarter, of course, is about base effect. Next quarter will be really interesting. But after a long time, we are seeing earnings upgrade. I think that is something that
and new leaders have come back into the market. The old leaders, of course, are also holding fort like banks, but names like IT have also come back. I mean, IT has become fashionable from being, you know, down in the dumps for so long.
Oh, yes. In fact, I wanted that question for Ashwini as well. Ashwini, you've been talking about this expansion phase for the market. 11th, of course, this is not a day call. You know, you've made this point very clear. But what next for this market?
See, 11,000 is basically a longer term target because we went from 9,100 to 7,000 and then we are back to 11,000. But definitely targets can get exceeded. I think you should easily see 11,500, 600 in this move itself because the market hasn't come to 11,000 to retreat from here. So definitely higher levels should happen. And now that you have, you know, all engines firing instead of just the bank nifty or the IT index.
Okay. Prakash, I didn't get your view on Axis. You just have a minute though for the market to open.
Yeah, so, you know, if you take the con call away and the kind of noises that we heard there by some quarters of the street, things seem to be coming back in terms of the corporate book improving not only in quality but expanding in a way that's also kind of, you know, looking promising. So Axis, yes, ICICI, I think all of them are now kind of, you know, on a much sounder footing. So now Axis is probably done with, you know, we've already seen the run up and the numbers have kind of rewarded that. But I would look at ICICI Bank very seriously thanks to, you know, this trend. So if that continues, you know, or expands to the other larger private sector corporate facing banks, there's no reason why ICICI wouldn't be a rewarding bet. So yes, good numbers from Axis. The negativity seems to be behind us, but look to the other one.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's just that ICICI and SBI still have to get the RBI report behind them. Once that happens, they will be in a better place. Yes Bank and Axis passed that hurdle in the second quarter. So that could be a niggling worry, that's all. But, you know, as the good book expands, then the rotten book begins to look smaller and smaller. That's what happened. That's what happened at Axis. You know, it's now dropped from 5.9 to 5.28, the gross NPLs. And that's what's cheering the market. That's what is assuaging sentiment on Axis. Well, we're just waiting for the word go now in a few seconds. And I wouldn't be surprised if 11,000 is reached there. I hope we have our firecrackers ready. 10, 9, 9.